fearful, so fearful when it comes to planning for end of life, fearful from the standpoint of, wow, can my kid actually handle all of this? Can my family actually handle all of this? What happens if they inherit this and I don't have a trust? Not a will, because a will can still be probated and challenged. But if I don't have a trust, what happens? It's fearful. So whenever when you're worth something and you pass away, these are things that you have to plan for and discuss and figure out. If you're not worth anything and you pass away, your family has to figure out, who's going to, pay for the funeral. So I'm, having this conversation with you guys because as you start to invest, some of you may already be, but as you start to invest in real estate or in any type of environment, and you start gathering assets, this is going to be something that's going to come up. It is. And this is going to be something that you should plan for. So remember that each and every one of us that's on this call 10 years from now, we should be having this conversation. Hey, do you have your trust in order? We all have to plan for this. Do you have your trust in order? If you don't, hey, let us align you with the right people that can, assist you with planning that out. Now, here's the thing. End of life doesn't even mean death. It could mean just immobility. You're not able to make decisions. If you're not, hey, what happens then? So that's, I have to say from my personal experience today, I had to gather all my assets, which thankfully I have everything together already. I had to send that over to my attorney. So in this review, they ask you all your assets, your debt, your liabilities, which is your debt, your income, and now where do you plan on being, within the next 12 to 24 months? Because, they try to, when you're starting out, if you're growing a business, it's going to be 12 to 24 months. If you're already established and you're just, everything it's very predictable, hey, they can write yours up right then and there. But it was very, very, it was a scary situation when I had to send that over. Then they ask you, who's your beneficiary? See, when you're filling out paperwork for yourself and you're asked, hey, who's your beneficiary? Oh, you can write down mom, dad, brother, sister. No. When you're sitting there writing it down with an attorney, because that's going to stick legally. And you trust that that's exactly who your beneficiary is going to be because they have a fiduciary duty. So, I tell you, man, that's like one of the most fearful things I went through as an adult. Fearful. I had to sit there and write down, hey, who's my beneficiary? Who's my beneficiary? It's scary. It's scary because you're anointing someone to your throne. It's very, very scary. All right, Coach. Hey, I'm fired up, man. A lot of great things is going on. A lot of great things. Tanya, are you on the call by chance? If you are, raise your hand. Let's see if we can unmute you. So guys, I want to let you know, if you're going to be investing in real estate, number one thing you have to do to be successful is you have to submit offers. You got to take action. You got to submit offers. So one of the things that we want to do every single Monday is, hey, look, we want to take like the first 5 minutes, have a small little monologue as you guys just saw. Then from there, take the next 5 or 6 minutes to show you guys actually how to submit offers, what to look for, and how to get comfortable with that process. So Coach, if you're okay with it, I believe we can hear you now. Maybe we can, work with Miss Tanya really quick. Boom, she can submit some offers and then boom, turn it right on over to you. How's that sound?
That sounds like a plan. I'm trying to figure out how to add. So thank you. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
All right. Delano, bear with us, brother. Let us do this real quick. I'm gonna make her the co-host real quick so that Tanya can go ahead and pull up a screen and show everyone, give away information, show how to make some offers real quick. And then we'll come back to circle back and get you to present and give us great information. Guys, I got 3 screens right here. So if I'm looking off, I'm looking at this other screen right now. Sorry for the delay. Sorry for the hiccup with the internet or my stuff with mute. My mic with mute. That's all. So, Miss Tanya, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, Coach.
All right, great deal. Can you share your screen?
Let me see. Yes, I can. I think. If let me know.
It's sharing. I see it.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all can see it. Okay.
Yep. Crystal clear.
Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. So as Coach Joe mentioned, we've been working, or I'll say I've been working with Coach Joe and Coach T in the Chicago market. And we've been looking at some deals from the MLS in the Chicago market. And so we have a few properties that we've been sort of doing some analysis on. And there's a few here that we've been working with Coach Joe's realtor that we have inquired for her to do, some additional analysis for us, specifically give us a property detail report in the ARV. So what we're looking at right now, so this is one of the properties, what you see on the screen. This is one of the properties that we did some initial analysis on, like I said, and then Coach Joe's realtor came back to us with an ARV. So the next step is when she gets back to us with the ARV, we taking that number into account, then we do some further analysis on the property. So what we're looking at, so in this particular property that you're looking at here, you'll see that the asking price is $129,000. And so the ARV on this property that we got from Miss D is 243K. So in terms of the parameters that Coach Joe uses for his analysis and in terms of moving forward to submit an offer, is we're looking at 60% of the ARV, and then we subtract the repair cost from that number, and that's how we get to a potential offer, or we look to see if we might want to make a potential offer on this deal if the numbers make sense. So the first thing that we do here, so like I mentioned, the realtor came back and said the ARV on this property is 243K. So we multiply that times 60%, and we get to 145, so 145K. And so the next step is we're looking at the guidelines that Coach uses to estimate what the what the repair costs would potentially be is based on the square footage. So it's just kind of like a number established, just a kind of a roundabout number based on what the potential rehab cost might be. So based on a square footage of 1,500 and below, the repair costs would be 50,000. So just an estimate. The estimate may be high, but it's a good, sort of rule of thumb to use in terms of doing the estimation. So if it's 1,500 or below, we're going to use 50K. If it's over 1,500, we're going to use 70K as the estimated total rehab cost. So in this case, what I'm looking at here is we got a 1,400 square foot property. Okay, so remember I did 60% of the 243. That brought us to 145. Oh, I think I could show my calculator. Okay, well, I'll just give you guys a number. So out of the 145, I'm going to subtract 50,000 That is the estimated repair cost, the estimated rehab cost, based on the fact that this is under 1,500 square feet. So when I subtract that, I get to 95,900. So ideally, we would want to be, in little closer proximity to this number, because we would know if we're in the ballpark range to make an offer. So our baseline offer would start at 95K, but you'll see here that they're offering, the asking price is 129K. So this one may or may not be a potential deal. And so that's when Coach Joe, kind of weighs in, and he'll, give his thoughts about if this one is a potential deal. But just from looking at it, we may not be in the proper range to make an offer on this deal, because there's not enough margin in it if we were to wholesale it. So I'll pause there for any questions or comments from the coaches.
No, you did
That was
a great job. Fantastic.
perfect. Very detailed. Perfect.
Okay, great. So based on that analysis, and like I said, from the perspective of a wholesale deal, this they're just, based on what the numbers are looking like, this probably wouldn't be a potential for a wholesale deal. So I think we would just kind of keep it on moving past this one.
Absolutely.
But I'll defer to Coach Joe.
No, I like it. You saw an opportunity, you ran the numbers, you saw that, boom, we're not even in the ballpark. They're asking more of market value, and that's not what we're in the business of doing, acquiring properties at market value. So hey, we just move on. So perfect. Let's see if you can find one that there is some opportunity. Show the people what that looks like.
Okay. All right. Let me go to another one that we've been talking with Dee about. So this one. Okay. I could show the example of one that we put in an offer on today. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's check it out.
Okay. All right, sure. Okie doke. So let me pull up this next one. All right. So this is one we actually, myself, Coach Joe, and Coach T looked at earlier today. And so this particular property, the ARV on this property from the realtor is 312K. So we take 312 times 60%. That brings us to 187,200. Okay. And then, so this particular property is a large property at 2,100 square feet. So we're going to subtract an estimated repair value of 70%. I'm sorry, 70,000. Okay, so I got at 60%, it's 187,200. So now I'm going to subtract 70K for the estimated repairs. And so that comes to 117. Okay. So in this example, we're a little closer to this, to the asking price. So for this example, we estimated that we could offer 110,000 on this particular deal. And the reason we offered 110K is to, as a starting bid, is to allow for room for a wholesale fee.
Outstanding.
That's right. Exactly.
Outstanding.
Exactly. Now, I know, Tony, you're probably looking at this and other people are looking at it. Click on the photos for us right there, and then We'll run through this here. When you just keep clicking on them. So when
Okay.
you're looking at that, people are probably saying to themselves like 70 grand, ain't no way it's going to be $70,000. Now, here's the thing. It may not be $70,000, but the quick rule of thumb is if you can get in there, make your offer, make it aggressive, and you can get the deal to where, you have a $70,000 buffer built in, but it actually only cost you $55,000. That's a win for you. That's a win for your buyer. Your seller, you can tell they want to get rid of this property. I mean, some additional things, Tanya, that we can actually do to, do some more discovery, but I won't get into that today. But when you're looking at this house here, I can tell you right now, just the floors alone, it doesn't include the baseboards. Baseboards there look pretty good, but the floors alone, they're going to cost you about $11,000 on that house, just the floors. Then you go in and you paint the whole property there. You can keep going. You do the paint. Oh, you upgrade these bathrooms. These bathrooms are $5,000 a piece. Anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000. You have two of them. So that's 12. So now you're at 22. Starting to add up pretty quickly. You look at your furnace and your condenser right there. Now you're at 6,000. Now you're almost at 30,000. Right. So it's just adding up very, very quickly. You got a garage door that's busted right there. Replace the garage door. It's $800. But when you actually, about $800 to $1,000. So so you look at like, holy moly. You didn't speak about demo. You didn't speak about trash. You didn't speak about electrical. So it adds up. So even if, again, you may come in at, 55, 60, that's $10,000 win for you or for your buyer. So, or even for you as the wholesaler, because whenever you actually walk the property, you can be more thorough on your budget at that time, and you can be more accurate. Boom, you can absorb half of that equity, give the other half of the equity over to your buyer. But ultimately, it's a win-win. Love it. Great job, Ms. Tony.
Thank you. And great job to you guys. And thank you for the coaching, and appreciate that.
You got it.
Yeah, great teamwork.
Great job. All right. Oh, Coach already beat me to it. Dillano, you stayed the co-host. But listen, y'all, that was an opportunity for you to see how to actually do MLS wholesaling. So people say you cannot work with real estate agents as a wholesaler. And if you got a real estate agent that give you a hard time, that's saying, hey, they don't want to work with you because you're a wholesaler, then you don't have you have a novice real estate agent or an ill-informed real estate agent. So smart people work with smart people. And I got a little slogan I just started: giants partner with giants to create giants. And think about if everybody had the attitude that they want to work with other people that's doing great, become great, and then go help other people become great. So why wait to be great? That's my motto. That's my book. And that's the slogan that we go by. And now we're trying to push it over to bring in more people in. So we just gave you away free information to all of you listening and all of you on this call. So thank you for getting on this call. The people that's free, the coaching members, we're working with Miss Tanya on this personally because we want her to lead the way as a head coach when we bring everybody else in on this kind of model. However, about the basic wholesaling, and that's what Mr. Dillano is on tonight. He's going to talk about the basic ways we do wholesaling and some ways that we're trying to partner up and work together as well. So looking forward to, hey, Dillano, you fell off again? All right, let me see. All right, where you at? All right, you the co-host. You can unmute yourself.
What's up? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, I'm gonna do something a little untraditional. So hold on. Let me see. I'm sorry. As soon as I did something, my access got moved here. All right, can you guys? What's that? Here, I'm gonna do it like this then. All right, can you guys see me? Hear
we
me?
can see that. Oh yeah, we can see and hear you.
All right, 1 second. Okay, perfect. You guys can hear me okay? There's no echo, anything like that?
Nope, you're good to go.
All right, awesome. Well, hey everybody. Coach, thanks for putting me in the game. I don't know if you used that before, but or if the students say that, but I just thought I would throw that out there. Everybody, my name is Dillano Medina. I am a real estate entrepreneur in North Carolina. I'm up in the Charlotte region. Started my business in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and it's been a journey. It's been one heck of a journey. We have done a lot of wholesale deals. We have done a lot of fix and flip projects. We're doing a lot of buy and hold projects. We're doing a lot of Airbnbs. So we are really diversifying ourselves in the real estate space, right? A lot of people are discovering wholesaling, and a lot of people are getting to know the ins and outs of it. But a lot of times we don't get to the basics, right? Or a lot of times we talk about wholesaling, but we talk about it on a surface level, right? Now I know that you guys are getting the coaching and the mentorship from the best of the best. And there's obviously tons of information out there online, right? But who's going to say no to extra information, or who's going to say no to another person's perspective in real estate? Because I truly believe that everybody has a different experience when it comes to wholesaling, right? You could do a wholesale deal one time, you can do it 100 times, and I guarantee you that out of those wholesale deals, that something is a little bit different each and every time, right? There's always going to be a scenario that's non-traditional. There's always going to be a scenario that you haven't encountered. And the only way that you can battle that, or the only way that you're able to overcome these obstacles that come along the way, is by having the right mentorship, is by having the right coaches around you, is by having the peers that have done more deals than you in this business. Okay. So I have a little presentation. I really didn't want to do too much of a presentation, but you guys seem like to be a very visual group. So I'm going to go ahead and just, show my visuals, if that's cool with you all. And I'm not trying to make this boring. I'm a very, I got to have something that catches my attention. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make this as entertaining and as interactive with everybody as possible. So my business and my organization is called Become a Deal Dog, right? When I learned the business of wholesaling, I actually learned it backwards, right? So we all know, obviously you guys have been, that are in here in this program, you guys know the fundamentals of wholesaling, right? Find an opportunity, find a seller that wants to sell, that's motivated, that, has some type of issue that you can solve as a real estate investor, and essentially connect them with a cash buyer or a real estate investor who is going to fix up that property, flip it, renovate it, rehab, resell, rent, whatever the case may be, and attempt to negotiate that deal for a profit. Okay. So we all know the traditional way of wholesaling, right? But when it comes to the way that I learned it, I learned about reverse wholesaling. Now, you guys probably already know what it is already, but to me, reverse wholesaling was, instead of you going out and actively trying to find the sellers, you were actually now focusing your time and attention on talking to the buyers. And you're probably thinking, why is that important? Why would you talk to the buyers first instead of the sellers, right? Well, this business, as we all know, is a relationship business. You have to network to increase your net worth, right? So when it comes to doing real estate, if you're a beginner, if you're intermediary, if you're advanced, whatever stage in your career, in your real estate journey that you're in, you're always going to benefit off of knowing somebody, and you're always going to be benefiting off of using other people's resources, right? We talk about OPM, other people's money. We talk about, I talk about OPP, other people's property, right? And when I talk about that, I'm talking about, hey, we're not just utilizing other people's money to make money, but we're using other people's property, right? So how can I work with a landlord to facilitate their needs, right? Let's just say they're trying to rent their property, but they have a hard time trying to rent their property because it's either overpriced or it's, it needs some work. And how do I get in between, add value to that seller, add value to that property, and make money on top of their property, right? So we talk about all these resources to do that, but the essence of it is finding a deal and finding the right person who is going to bring the capital to the table to help you out. Okay. So who am I, right? Like I said, I'm a real estate investor, North Carolina. I actually come from a family of entrepreneurs who's actually seen the highs and the lows of this business, right? So a lot of people, most people who come up in the space usually have some type of, rags the riches story, right? Like, hey, they started from the bottom and now we're here, right? But for me personally, I actually had it a whole lot different, right? I actually started at the top and we ended up coming down, and then now we're working our way back up, all the way back to the high, right? So it's like a roller coaster, right? You start up, then you go down, right? Or you start at the bottom, you come up, and then you reach this level, and then you start coming down, right? So I would say that I got my experience in the real estate space through my family, right? My mom started as a real estate agent. She made $1 million as a real estate agent. My dad did mortgages. He worked in the mortgage business. So I got to understand at a very young age, how the whole real estate game worked, right? But then I also saw that the crash, right? I also saw the bad sides. I also saw the collapse, right? And even at a very young age, I wasn't able to comprehend a lot of that, but I was able to really see what that did for my family, right? What that did to my family, right? And also to what it did for my family. So it did a lot. It taught us a lot. We lost a lot. We ended up having to move our entire situation, our entire operations to a whole different state, which is now North Carolina. And now we are learning from our mistakes and we're improving and being able to do new things that we haven't been able to do before. Now, if there's another recession or another collapse, right, we know how to act appropriately in that time. And that's what you want to be able to figure out. How can I make my real estate business recession proof, right? How can I make this business operate for me that even if the world collapses, right, you still have opportunities out there to rent your properties, to sell your properties, to do whatever that you need to do to profit out of these deals, right? So I started off just like everybody else. Most people start out this way. They go to YouTube University, right? They watch a ton of videos. They start off and they get a lot of knowledge, but they don't know the correct plan of action, right? And a lot of people that are here are probably in that boat, or at least were in that boat before you joined the Kingdom Real Estate here, right? But now what I've done is I've been able to learn what it takes to successfully do a business, create a 6-figure, 7-figure business in the space of real estate by hiring the right people in my corner, by spending a lot of money, not just into the coaching programs, not just into the softwares, but really just investing into my brain and into my abilities to be able to go out there and consistently bring deals and revenue into my business, right? So when I started off, I spent a lot of money, right? My entry fee and this is probably way more than what most people pay. I spent about $7,000 for my first coaching mentorship, right? Like, and I'm gonna just be blunt, right? I'm gonna be blunt. I'm gonna say it out just right because I want people to know, what it was, right? 20 years old, I paid $7,000. I did whatever it took. I put it on multiple credit cards. I said, look, I'm determined to do whatever it takes, right? But I had the mind frame in my head that, hey, I'm gonna make this business work no matter what I do. I'm gonna make this business work no matter what I do, right? I didn't care how long it took. I don't care what I had to do. I don't care who stood in my way. I was willing to risk it all in order for me to make this business work, right? And I'm talking like this because a lot of people, when they're starting this business, they come with the mindset of, hey, I'm interested in this. I don't know what rabbit hole I'm gonna go down with this whole real estate thing. I'm hoping that I can maybe buy property here, do this and that. I'm hoping that I can eventually get to this point. But I will tell you that mindset of that is all wrong, right? If you're serious about real estate, if you're serious about getting to the next level, you have to come in this mind frame, come out of this mind frame that what I'm doing is going to be, hey, part-time and I'm going to do it. And maybe if I get lucky, you can't have that mind frame in this business, right? Because the past 3 years of this business particularly, right, we've seen the craziest time in real estate probably ever, right? Interest rates are at an all-time low. People bidding on properties left and right like crazy, right? And I won't lie, we benefited off of a lot of the craziness that happened in the market. Some deals that were out there that really didn't make any sense, right? We were making money off of, right? There was deals we were like, man, there's no way somebody will buy this. And they bought it, right? So we got lucky. We got real lucky, right? But now that the market has shifted, we have to pivot. We have to change how we're doing things. So I like what I saw when I first got here, right? Because, we're doing a deal breakdown. The numbers, like just hearing off of the lady's presentation, the numbers have changed, right? The numbers are completely different now. So you have to pivot and adjust in order for you to succeed in this type of business, right? But essentially, what it comes down to is finding discounted opportunities, talking to sellers, having good quality conversations, sellers, realtors, anybody that you can help, right? Having great quality conversations with people and finding those opportunities to work with people that are looking to buy opportunities, right? And that's why I created Deal Dogs, right? So you guys see my shirt, right? Become a Deal Dog. People are like, oh, what's a Deal Dog, right? So I'm going to get to that. But basically, I wanted to do Deal Dogs because I wanted to shorten people's learning curve on how to get started and give them a roadmap on what they do to get started and give them the tools they need to make money right away, right? So you're probably like, all right, what's a Deal Dog, right? I never heard of this term Deal Dogs. Like, what is that, right? Well, you guys probably have heard this in a different light, or you've probably heard a similar term, but you probably didn't pick up 2 and 2, right? So there's a deal dog, right? And there's a bird dog, right? Most of the people here probably have heard what a bird dog is, right? A bird dog, for people that don't know, right? A bird dog is somebody who, let's just say, I say, hey, you work for UPS, or hey, you work for Uber or DoorDash or whatever. Hey, for every property that you find me and you collect a list of those properties, I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars, right? Maybe it's $100, maybe it's $500, maybe it's $1,000, whatever the case may be, right? But essentially, you really don't have the the power when it comes to being able to close on the property, being able to talk to these sellers, being able to do whatever, right? A deal dog, right, is somebody who finds opportunities for real estate investors, wholesalers, agents, professionals, and finds them deals that allow them to make money, right? So being a deal dog is not just a title, it's a skill set, okay? As a deal dog, you control your own time, you control your own schedule, you decide who you work with, where you go, and what activities you do every day, right? And isn't that kind of what we're all wanting anyways? We're kind of all wanting freedom. And that's why we are in real estate, right? Because we want to have that time freedom to be able to live and enjoy our lives to the fullest potential. And learning how to become a deal dog is the gateway. I'd say it's the footstone to not just wholesaling, but to real estate investing as a whole, right? Because when you're learning wholesaling is kind of like the intro class to any college curriculum, right? Wholesaling can be the biggest thing out there. It could be the most fundamental thing out there, and it is the most fundamental thing out there, right? And we're able to make a lot of money wholesaling, right? I have a friend of mine that says, hey, wholesaling is a ATM to fund what you're passionate about or any other businesses such as fix and flips or anything else like that that will benefit you in the long run in your business. Okay. So becoming a deal dog is the fastest way to learn this side of real estate because you get directly into all the action. You learn all the sides of real estate a whole lot quicker. Okay. Similar to wholesaling, very similar to wholesaling, specifically focused on finding opportunities. You don't have to be the one to talk to the sellers. You don't have to be the one that talks to the buyers. You don't have to be that person, but you dang sure need to make sure that you are networking and connecting with people as a deal dog. Okay. How do you get paid as a deal dog? Right. So being paid as a deal dog is super simple, right? Like I said, when I started real estate wholesaling, I learned go find the buyer first, right? Why would somebody tell me to talk to the buyer first and not talk to the seller? Okay. What in the world? Okay, I'm sorry. I just got sidetracked with the comments. I don't know what was going on there, but basically, why would somebody say, why would somebody say, hey, go find a buyer instead of finding a seller? Okay. Well, finding the buyer is super important because your buyers are going to tell you what their buy box is. They're going to tell you what their criteria is. They're going to tell you what their portfolio is. And you have to be the one to source opportunities and know where to look to find those opportunities. So when I got started, right, my market was Fayetteville, North Carolina, right? Anybody heard of Fayetteville, North Carolina, right? Because a lot of people heard Vietnam, right? That's what it used to be called, right? But now Fayetteville, North Carolina has improved so much, right? And what people don't know about Fayetteville is that Fayetteville is the home of one of the largest military bases in the United States. Okay. So with that, right, think about the real estate that is generated with that. With people constantly moving in and out and in and out, there's tons of opportunities for people to be able to capitalize during this time in real estate. 1 second, you all. Okay, should have put my phone on do not disturb here. So basically what you're trying to do is find the major cities, find the zip codes, find the upcoming areas in the market that are coming up so that way you can know where people are getting ready to buy, where people are getting ready to flip, where people are getting ready to buy and hold, where people are getting to relocate their families, right? Because think about it, people are attracted to finding places and areas where they feel comfortable, they feel safe, they have a good school district, and you ultimately want to be in those areas where it's good to raise a family, right? That is what ideally people are looking for. Either they're looking to go in a safe area. If you look at the basic needs of people, right? People are looking for convenience, safety, places where they can go buy food, clothes, shelter. People are looking for all that. So when you look at those areas, what are the specific areas that are the best areas in your market? What are the best zip codes in your market, right? You guys need to know that information in order for you to be able to do more deals, right? You have to know where your buyers are buying. If you're not knowing where your buyers are buying, you're not going to make any money in this business. You're not going to make any money in this business. So you have to find the major cities, the hot zip codes, right? The upcoming areas, because the reality is there's so much competition in the market right now. There's tons of competition in the market right now. How do you separate yourself from the competition, right? Either you talk a good game, right? Or you get to the deal before anybody else does, right? Now, as a deal dog, you can get paid tons and tons of different ways, right? A lot of people think, okay, hey, you can only get paid when the deal closes. That's not necessarily true, right? That's not necessarily true, right? I've gotten paid per day. I've gotten paid on a weekly basis. I've gotten paid on a monthly basis. And I've also gotten paid per deal, right? Now, you can get paid being somebody's deal dog, right? Let's just say you work with a cash buyer. They say, hey, for every property you find, I don't even need you to get on the phone or talk to anybody. For every property that you find is vacant and distressed, I'll give you $1. I'll give you $2, right? I'll give you $5, right? You can work with a person and agree to get them 100 properties a day, 100 properties a week, whatever the case may be, whatever you can do with your time freedom right now. But find a way to service that buyer. If you can't bring them consistent deals, then maybe you can write down the addresses for them or use a software to keep track of those addresses. So that way you can bring lists to those buyers. So that way they can do the work and you get paid once the deal closes, right? We all talk about lists, okay? You get lists online. You go to PropStream, you can go to PropWire, you can go to Batch Leads, you can go to all these other places. Everybody's selling lists, right? Do you guys know what my favorite list is? My favorite list, personally, that I've made 6 figures in is driving for dollars. Driving for dollars, right? And driving for dollars is just going in your car, hopping in the car, put some gas in it, drive around in your neighborhoods, right? Surrounding where you live at, where you go shopping at, right? And my favorite method is to go on Zillow, right? I'm gonna give you guys some sauce here. Going on Zillow, looking at all the sold properties and driving those areas where the properties have actually sold. Why do I like to do that? Because if you're going to find properties in an area that nobody's bought in, then you're fishing, right? You're fishing and hoping to get something, right? You might be in a pond where there's no fish, right? And you are fishing there with no knowledge of there being fish in there anyways, right? But if you can go to a pond where you know fish are there, right? You know people are buying in those neighborhoods, that's where you need to be. That's where you need to focus on. That's where you need to focus your attention on. You need to go to Zillow or find, and you can use any of the websites and find those properties that are sold on the market, whether they sold a month ago, 2 months ago, 6 months ago, whatever. Find the properties where there's activity and drive those areas. And you will be surprised how many vacant properties that you see when you drive those areas. You will see a ton. You will see a ton. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys what you should look for when you're going for these properties, right? Because like I said, driving for dollars is my favorite method of marketing, right? Everybody has their own niche and their own thing, and some people's tax delinquents. I do pre-foreclosures too. I do a lot of those. I do a lot of probate, right? But when I find these drive for dollars leads, you will be very surprised the stories that you hear when you find these drive for dollars leads, right? You will hear people say, yeah, this was inherited by me and my family. Oh, I never wanted to buy this property. Hey, I had a tenant, they destroyed the place and I just haven't gone back. Like, you will hear all types of craziness, right? When you are driving for dollars and you're contacting these sellers, right? So I look for the high grass. I look for the broken windows. I look for for no blinds in the windows. I look for the non-working cars in the driveway. I'm looking for the open mailboxes, the mail that falls out the mailboxes, dull roofs, blue tarps on the roof, screen doors wide open, front doors wide open, debris in the yard, no trespassing signs, code enforcement signs. Like, I'm looking for all of these, right? Because the reality is the person that owns that property either has some reason why it's vacant. Either it was a family property, they never did anything with it. Maybe they lived in it at one point and they moved out. Maybe a family member was living in it. There's all types of stories that you will come across when it comes there, right? But in the back of their mind is, okay, I need to eventually do something with that property. I need to find out, hey, am I going to fix this up? Am I going to use this money that I'm bringing in through my 9-to-5 job to fix up this house and do something and try this landlord thing again? Or am I just going to sell it outright and just be done? And that's what the problem is for a lot of people. Now, you have to go in there as the problem solver and ask people, hey, I drove past this property, right? Are you interested in selling it? No, I'm not interested in selling it. Okay, so a lot of people, when they hear, no, I'm not interested in selling, they give up. A lot of people give up, right? I did my biggest wholesale deal by somebody telling me that they're not interested in selling. Not interested in selling. Biggest wholesale deal, right? But the thing is, when you're talking to people and you're having conversations, you need to make sure that you are asking the right questions, right? So good open-ended question is, hey, listen, I drove past your property and, I saw it was vacant. I just want to see, hey, what's going on with it, right? What's going on with it? That's not a yes or no question. That's an open-ended question. What's going on with it, right? And they might not know you, but they might say, hey, I'm doing this to the property, XYZ, and as long as you don't sound like a bill collector or the tax man, most people give you the information, right? Now, somebody tells you, hey, no, I'm not interested in anything. I'm not interested in selling it, whatever. I'll be like, so, hey, this might be out of place, but why are you letting it sit and go vacant, right? Why, right? Why are you letting it sit and go vacant? And sometimes when you go the extra mile and ask those extra additional questions, you're able to get more information out of them, right? You're able to find out critical details. Maybe they own the property with somebody else. Maybe they have a title issue on the property and they can't figure out how to clear it up. Maybe they owe taxes on the property and they're scared if they sell it that they're going to owe taxes or whatever the case may be, right? Here's some examples of some houses that we did. So I did this property here in Concord, North Carolina. I drove for dollars and I found this property. Called the seller. She said, hey, it's vacant. I had some renters in there. It was a family property. And then the people left and they didn't pay me rent. Does that not sound like a problem, right? Does that sound like something that you can't solve or at least help figure out for that person? Right? I asked her, I said, okay, well, what's your plans for it? What do you plan on doing next? Right? Are you just going to let it sit there? Are you going to try to fix it back up? And usually what I like to do is I like to give them the solutions that I know that most people won't go with. Hey, why don't you fix it up? Why don't you list it on the market? Why don't you rent it back out? Right? Once you start giving them the solutions that you know a lot of people won't do, then they box themselves in to the, well, I mean, I guess I got no choice but to sell it, right? So this property right here, we made $30,000 on this deal, right? I think I got it for $47,000. Wholesaled it for 77 or something like that. And driving for dollars. And I was just asking the right questions, right? And I even asked her, I said, hey, when you get paid from this property, what are you gonna do with the money? Right? A lot of people aren't even asking that. People are like, oh shoot, like that's a like somebody asked me that, I'd be like, that's none of your business, right? But go ahead and ask that. If you're building rapport and you're talking to the sellers the right way, that's an appropriate question to ask. Hey, once you sell, what are you going to do next? Right? You don't even have to say, hey, what are you going to do with the money? You could just say, hey, once you sell, what are you going to do next? And a lot of people will tell you, hey, I'll buy another property, or hey, I'll pay off this debt, or hey, I'll do this, right? By getting out those questions, by getting those answers, you're able to have more position in negotiation, in leverage, and in closing that deal and guaranteeing yourself you're going to be able to close that deal. This lady told me, hey, when I sell this property, I'm going to take me a vacation. I said, oh, shoot, really? Where are you going to go? I love to go to Jamaica. I love to go to the Bahamas. I'm like, wow, I look forward to helping you go to Jamaica. I look forward to getting you to the Bahamas, right? And when I said it like that, I sealed the deal. The deal wasn't sealed yet, but when I started talking like, hey, I'm going to help you out with this, when we met in person to get this contract signed, there was no pushback on anything. I was just like, hey, you ready to move forward? Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it. Right? And those are the types of conversations that you have to have with these sellers, right? So these are the type of properties that you want to go for. You can go for the nice and pretty, right? If you got a good deal, right? But I go for the ugly. I go for the downright ugly, right? And I use a few different tools, right? I use driving for dollar apps like Deal Machine. Deal Machine is my number one favorite tool. I promise you, I'm not a Deal Machine representative. I didn't come on here to sell you guys Deal Machine, but I've been a Deal Machine customer since 2019. And Deal Machine has got me my first ever deal, and Deal Machine has gotten me my biggest deal ever, right? So I can testify that Deal Machine works. Now they got several different apps that you can use to drive for dollars. You could actually use Zillow and drive for dollars. Not a lot of people are talking about that, but you could Zillow drive for dollars, all by just tracking your location, driving, finding out the property, screenshotting the property on your phone, and then going back and then calling them later, right? So you got free apps that you can use. There should be no reason why you can't drive for dollars for free, right? But if you use Deal Machine, they have a lot of different features that help you keep track of the property. You can export the leads better. You can skip trace the leads better. You can do a lot of different things, right? I've used LandGlide before, like when I first started, but Deal Machine by far has the best tracking abilities. It'll track your KPIs. It'll track your mileage. It'll track how many properties you had that day. It'll do a lot of that for you. So that's my favorite thing, right? And like I said, hey, we go around all these neighborhoods. We're able to find out the owner's information. We're able to find out they're an owner occupant, they're absentee occupant. It'll even tell you, Deal Machine will even tell you, which is crazy because it never used to do this, but Deal Machine will tell you now if a property is vacant or not. How does that change the game? That changes the game tremendously. Now when you're driving, you're like, oh, shoot, this property is vacant. Hey, this person at least has some kind of motivation why they might want to sell, right? So this is not I use this presentation for a lot of different things, especially when I do my calls. But, Deal Machine, you can go in there. You can use my link if you want. I don't really care. But use it if you guys, if you haven't done a deal yet, and I don't know who's on the call, maybe you have done deals. Everybody's on the call's done deals, right? But if you haven't done a deal yet, right, I'm a firm believer that get in your market, learn where you live at, and drive the heck out of that area. Drive the heck out of it. Find your best zip codes, find the best school districts, drive those areas, go on Zillow, find the sold properties. I even type the sold properties into my GPS, and then I just drive all those areas. Sometimes I'll be like, dang, I've been living here for this amount of years. I didn't even know about this part of town, So drive for dollars, right? I have a good buddy of mine. I'm not gonna name drop over here, but good buddy of mine. He made $1.7 million last year in wholesaling. Just driving for dollars. Okay. So a lot of people are like, it's taking a lot of time, right? Yeah, it's a lot of effort. Would you not drive 3-4 days out of the week to make $1.7 million? Please, somebody tell me no. Please, somebody tell me no. Okay. Because that's what I do, right? Then you can take, you can go on these websites. You go on True People Search, Fast People Search. I use Been Verified, but skip tracing, super simple. You go on here, you find these people, you find their phone numbers, X, Y, and Z, right? But when it comes to finding the right areas and finding the right neighborhoods, I'm pretty much, like I said, going to the sold section. I'm looking for B to C class neighborhoods, right? What's a B to C class neighborhood? What's an A class neighborhood? What's a D class neighborhood, right? I'm looking for B to C. Why am I looking for B to C? B to C neighborhoods are areas that you can improve and get to the next stage, right? Like C can go to B and B can go to A, right? So you want to find those areas where maybe you have older brick houses, but it's in a clean area. It's in a clean neighborhood. You got older brick houses, right? Houses built typically in the 70s, 80s, right? Those are your type of houses right there. You might see a B-class neighborhood, houses that were built maybe in the 90s, early 2000s, right? Those are your B to C type class neighborhoods, right? So you want to find out where are the up and coming parts of your city, right? And typically you want to stay in the price points of $100,000 to $300,000, right? I typically don't like to go above $300,000, but if you find a good deal in a high-end neighborhood, you should take that deal all day, right? But you have to know what property values are worth, what the comps are, what the ARV is. You have to find out what that data is, right? You have to make sure that you're researching all the time, right? The higher price you go, the less the stress you see. The higher price you go, the less the stress you see. So if you see higher price homes, likely that's not the best area to drive, right? If you go in this neighborhood and you're like, wow, these homes are, God, they're spectacular. You shouldn't be in that neighborhood. If you're in that neighborhood, you're just looking and you're wishing, you're dreaming, right? You're dreaming. But you go into a neighborhood that you say, hey, this is a normal neighborhood, right? It's not too nice. It's not too, it's not too ratchet out here, right? But at least you see, hey, there's some potential. You see people flipping homes, right? How you're if you're in an all brick neighborhood and you start seeing people paint their brick white, that's how you know there's activity happening in that area. Okay, so You want to keep your eye out on that. If you're questioning, hey, are people getting active in my area? Go to Zillow, hit the sold section. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Okay. So best way to find deals, right? Let's get to the nitty gritty, man. I know I'm talking a lot, but let's get to the nitty gritty, right? So go to your local public courthouses, get a list of the auction properties, right? I mentioned this when I met Coach. I gave a lot of people the gems, and I don't have any problem with it because this information is public information, and I'm not going to withhold public information, right? It's public for a reason. Okay. So you can go to your local courthouse, get the list of probate or auction properties. You can go to Hutchins Law Firm website. That's in North Carolina and South Carolina. Brock and Scott, what I've seen, they have a lot of states with Brock and Scott. They have a lot of states that of people that are getting ready to go into foreclosure, not just North Carolina and South Carolina, but Brock and Scott. They got a good auction website as well too. So those are the top two that I've been using as well. You can go to the register of deeds and go to the estate and the probate section, right? Find those people that they deceased. And a lot of the times when you go to these places, they will tell you who's the beneficiary, who's the estate, who's the executor of the estate, right? And you'll get all their names, you'll get their phone numbers, you'll get everything. You just have to go in and request those paperwork, right? Or that document. Go to real estate meetups locally. Hey, look, if you're not in this business and you're not networking in person, Facebook is one thing. You can do great things. Facebook is super powerful. Instagram is super powerful. But if you're not going to meet these people in person, then you're not winning. You're not doing it right. You can do a lot online, don't get me wrong, but there's something about that face-to-face, right? There's something about that face-to-face, right? I tell you, right, we talk about wholesaling, we talk about virtual wholesaling, right? Which is better, right? So you could be wholesaling in your market, you go to every appointment, you meet every seller, you shake every seller's hand, you meet every seller's dog, every seller's cat, you meet these people in person, and then you got somebody else who is in another country, another state, they could be whatever, and they're calling that same seller trying to close that deal without being in front of you, right? Without being in front of them. Who's going to win? Who is going to win? You are going to win. And the reason why you are going to win is because people want to do business with people that they like and they trust and they feel comfortable with, right? It's not just about that. You got to feel comfortable, right? So being in person is a great way to do this business. Now we do virtual deals all the time. Don't get me wrong, right? Don't get me wrong. But if you're going to go virtual, if you're going to do real estate virtually, you got to have boots on the ground. You have to have boots on the ground, right? That's where you go into the real estate groups and you start networking. That's where you start, reaching out and saying, hey, who's in this city, right? I'll pay you $50, $100 every property you go and take a look at it, look at it for me. Or even better, this is what I do, right? I say, hey, look, if I have a property in another state, in another city, whatever, I find out who's in the area. Hey, if you help me close this deal, we can JV it, right? How much motivation is that for somebody else who may have never done a deal or looking for a deal or looking to partner with people on deals? How much motivation is that for them to be able to close their deal and to help you out, right? You have to find ways to partner with people in this business. 2020, we probably did 20 or 30 JV deals alone. I probably did more JV deals than actual deals. I'll be honest with you, right? And I did that because, hey, JV deals are a great way to get business, find future business partners, get capital, right? And to get eyes on a property without you having to physically be there, without you having to fly out or drive out or whatever the case may be. So you have to learn the power of JVing with people. JVing is so important, right? One of my first deals was a JV. I only made like $1,000, but it was something for me. And if you're on this call right now and you're saying, hey, look, I still haven't done my first deal, you gotta JV with people. You have to, right? So meetups, networking, super important. Go to the courthouse, get a list of the code enforcements, right? Code enforcements, those are the people that have the tall grass. Those are the people that the roof's falling off. Those are the people that, they got all types of crazy stuff written on their house, right? Trash can falling over. You got couches on the curb. You got mattresses on the curb. Those are all types of code enforcement types of leads that people can get. And like those, most of those come from people that have lived in a property and they were renting, and now the person, is tired of the property, don't want nothing to do with it, and they don't care what happens with it, right? So what you want to do, and like I said, how you want to present yourself is as a person, as a deal dog, is somebody who will be collecting data, right? Data in this business is super, super duper important, right? You have to collect data, know how to use that data appropriately so you can get paid, right? Whether you contact the leads yourself or you drive for dollars and get organic leads and get leads that, hey, you can't get from PropStream or you can't get from Batch or you can't get from anywhere else, because trust me, there are a lot of deals out there that you cannot just get a list from on Batch or PropStream or whatever and expect to get those quality leads on your list. You can't. The only way you can get a lot of those is by going and seeing it in person and making sure that you notate it or write it down or whatever the case may be, right? But you want to take that information and you want to present it in your local groups, in your Facebook groups. You want to post the things on Instagram, right? Instagram has been so organic to me. It's been blessing me so much. And it's allowed me to reach a lot of people now that are bringing me opportunities just based off of hashtags, saying hashtag fix it from hashtag wholesale, hashtag, distressed property. There's so many different ways to connect with people to find investors, realtors, or wholesalers. They're all over the network. They're all over the internet. Okay. So you have to build these lists, build the buyers list, build the realtors list, build the wholesalers list. And then what you do after that, you contact each and every one of them. Hey, what do you need? What problem are you facing? How can I solve it? Hey, you need more leads? Boom, let me drive for dollars every week. Put a list together and let me give you the most quality leads, right? For $1 or $2 a pop. And you may be thinking, is that worth my time? Yes, it is worth your time, right? I say it's worth your time because if you can drive for dollars and get 100 properties a day, that's 500 a week. Let's just say you charge $1 per property that you find. That's $500 every week, right? People will pay that. People are paying way more than that for lists out there. But if they know they're getting a quality list, such as a driving for dollars list for $1, like people are like, I can get these leads for 10 cents. I can get these leads for 3 cents, But is that lead quality though? Is that lead quality, right? If you get a distressed property that you see, hey, look, this, I look it up and it's not really showing up on PropStream, it's not showing up here, right? And people are like, oh, hey, they don't see the value in it, right? But when I tell people that a lot of my deals are closed from driving for dollars, they're like, yo, where do I get these lists from? Where do you get these lists from? Bingo. You share your story, you share your testimony, boom. Hey, you've closed some deals driving for dollars, and the driving for dollars works, and you get a very quality list. Now, hey, when somebody's like, yo, I don't have time to drive for dollars, like, how can I get these lists from you? Well, I got lists that, hey, I'm working them too, but I'll give you some. I'll give you, some of these leads for, 50 cents, $1, $2, whatever you want to charge, right? but it's just a creative way to get into real estate and to make money, even if you haven't even closed the deal yet. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about that, right? We all talk about, hey, you get paid once the deal closes, but there are people making millions of dollars just in data alone. But while you're driving for dollars and collecting this data, you're learning. You're learning your area. You're learning what zip codes to go to. You're learning what neighborhoods to go to. You're learning what's safe, what's not safe. You're learning a lot just by driving around. People don't see the power in driving, getting in their car and learning the area. It's so powerful. So you have to utilize that. You have to get resourceful. If you haven't done a dollar in real estate, learn how to drive for dollars. That's probably the most quintessential skill that you can do in this business, right? You can do bandit signs, right? You can learn, you can get a lot of people doing bandit signs, but the free, cheap, easy method that's made me a lot of money is driving for dollars, okay? The more clients, the more people you reach, the more clients you have with money to purchase real estate. And the more people you have to pay you for the deals you find, right? So you have to ask and offer to help them find properties, right? You have to go out your way to be a deal finder for somebody. Get paid to be a deal finder, okay? Build relationships. Find out what houses they're specifically targeting, right? How many beds and baths do they want? How big does the yard size have to be, right? How many rooms in a house do you want it to be? What do you want the front yard to look like? What do you want the backyard to look like? Do you want brick houses or do you want, houses with vinyl siding? Get specific, because then when you find something, you know exactly. Let's just say you're working with 3 investors or 3 agents. They say, one says, hey, I'm looking for distressed properties. I'm looking for pretty properties. I'm looking for, a property that's not in bad shape, but it needs a little bit of work. Now, when you drive for dollars and you find something, now you say, hey, okay, boom, this is what this person's looking for. Let me give it to this person. Hey, this is what this person's looking for. Let me get it to this person, right? And people are going to appreciate when you think about them for certain for certain things, for certain properties. So you have to learn where what houses they're targeting, right? And go out and find it for them. Go out and deal dog, right? I'm like, hey, look, here's a bone, fetch, right? You gotta go out and do that. And it's part of servanthood, man. It's part of servanthood. Not everybody, when you start out in this business, you're gonna be the boss. You have to go in the trenches. You have to be in the trenches to get this business running, because I know what it's like to not close deals for months. I know what it's like. And some of you guys are probably in that position right now. Like I did one deal and then I didn't close my next deal till 7 months, right? So I know what it is like. I know what the struggle is like, but you have to overcome and succeed. And you have to get creative, right? If you're not trying, some people are like, hey, do one thing and stick to that. That's cool. That's cool. I believe that too, right? But find one thing that works and stick to that, right? If you're doing something for a long period of time and it hasn't worked, then maybe it's time to switch it up, right? I believe, hey, if you do it for a month, 2 months, 3 months consistently, and it doesn't work, then maybe it doesn't work for what the market that you're doing it in, right? But if you do something for, hey, a short period of time, of course it's not going to work, but you have to find different avenues of business, right? If driving for dollars isn't working, maybe put a bandit sign. If bandit signs aren't working, maybe write out handwritten letters. I've done deals like that. Handwritten letters, right? If handwritten letters don't work, all right, maybe I should skip trace and cold call a list. If cold calling doesn't work, maybe I should try SMS, right? If SMS and cold calling don't work, all right, maybe I should wholesale on the market. You can get deals in any marketing method. You can get deals and find opportunities in different marketing methods, but you have to find what is going to bring the most consistency in your business, right? Try bandit signs for a month. Try driving for dollars for a month, right? Whatever gets you the most hits, stick with it, right? If you get a deal driving for dollars, stick with it. If you get a deal bandit signs, stick with it, okay? But make sure that you are trying different things from time to time to, to evolve in your business. That's what I believe, right? And let me go ahead and introduce. Let me see how much time I got. So let me tell you about how to position yourself, right, to real estate professionals, because when you're doing this, a lot of people might be like, who are you, right? Or a lot of people like, how can this person help me, right? And you don't want to be that person that's like, hey, I'm just talking to you because I'm looking to get $1, man. I'm looking to get, we all got those people like, hey, let me borrow $1, man. Let me get this, right? You don't want to be that person, right? But I'm gonna tell you that proposing yourself as a professional in the right manner is going to help you out in this business, right? So introduce yourself. Hey, if I'm messaging you on Facebook, I'm gonna say, hey, my name is Dillano. Nice to meet you. How are you today? Right? I'm not gonna talk about business. I'm not gonna go right into it right away, because when you go into it right away, you automatically turn people off. You want to have the conversation first. That, hey, hey, what do you do for a living? I checked out your Facebook. I see, hey, you're married. You got this going on. What do you do? Are you in real estate? And explain to them. Once you get to the point of talking to them, you want to tell people about what you do. Hey, I specialize in finding and creating off-market opportunities for real estate investors and realtors and wholesalers, right? That are looking to buy properties, sell properties, or list properties, right? I can help you find properties, but also I have a network of people that are looking to buy properties in this city, in this state, in this county, right? So, hey, if you ever come across any deal and you're looking to get it sold, I got you. Let me help you. You don't know how many deals I've done telling people that. Hitting people, sliding in people's DMs, right? Sliding in people's DMs saying, hey, I specialize in finding off-market deals for investors, right? I find deals. If you're looking for deals, I can help you get deals. If you have deals and you can't sell deals, I can help you with that as well, right? So positioning yourself as somebody who is helpful, that's a resource. You don't want to come off like, hey, I'm selling this. This is what I'm selling, X, Y, Z. You don't want to come off that way at all. You want to come off as a way like, hey, look, I can help you find deals, and I can help you sell deals, or help you find a buyer for the deals with the network that I have. And you'd be surprised. Some people are like, well, shoot, I got this deal right now. I can't sell. Maybe you can help me find it. Maybe you can help me find a buyer. I don't know, and you get deals that way as well too. By just telling people that you have buyers, that will automatically 10x your business, just like that, right? Telling people, hey, I have buyers, right? And if you go through this process, you go through this, right? And you say, hey, listen, like, I'm not here to cut into your pockets. I'm not here to try to sell you on anything. But if I find a buyer for you, or if I find properties that fit what you're looking for, then throw me a bone, right? $500, $1,000. Now with realtors, you have to be really, really careful, because technically as an agent, you can't give a person a referral fee, right? But you can give somebody a marketing fee, right? Or you can give somebody a deal dog fee or a bird dog fee, right? Agents do it all the time, right? So make sure that you know who you're talking to. And I think coach or one of the coaches said before, a lot of these agents, a lot of these realtors in this market don't understand how to work with wholesalers. Wholesalers and realtors are a beautiful thing. If we can work together. People used to have this mindset, oh, wholesalers and realtors, they're like enemies. No, we can work together. Realtors find buyers for our deals all the time, right? Realtors find buyers for our deals all the time. So I work with realtors like that. Hey, I talk to realtors and I say, hey, do you have anything coming up? Any pocket listings, right? If you don't know what a pocket listing is a property that maybe they signed a listing agreement and it's coming up on the market, but they haven't listed it yet, right? Hey, do you have any pocket listings? We just closed on a flip that agent brought to me. There was a pocket listing from somebody else. She said, hey, do you have any deals? He's like, well, yeah, I do. We're getting ready. We were thinking about listing it. They signed the listing agreement, but if you bring me a buyer right now, we don't even have to go on the market. Bet. Let's do it. Right? So that's what you have. That's what you have to get in the mind frame of doing, right? Finding the people, finding opportunities, telling people what you do, right? I didn't realize how important that was in this business. Telling people what you do. Telling people what you do is super duper critical, right? Super duper critical. So that's that, right? Networking, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, investor websites, right? So here's one of my first deals, right? I'm going to show you. This is like a case study. I use this screenshot for everything, right? But one of my first deals, right? Let me show you the script. And you guys copy the script, screenshot it, I don't care, right? People are like, hey, how do I approach people in the messages? Hey, my name is Dillano Medina. I'm a local real estate investor in this market that's looking to connect with other wholesalers to make money. I have a property. At this time, I was actually selling a property for somebody else who brought me a property to sell to other people, right? Say, hey, I have a property you may be interested in. Would you be interested in finding out more? And also, if you have any properties that you're trying to sell, I'd be happy to look at it. This person said, hey, I have no idea where that's at. I'm in Charlotte. And then they sent me a property just out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere, like, hey, I got this property. We're asking 165. We're asking 165, right? Would you guys believe that I did this deal? Not once spoke to anybody on the phone. Not once saw the property. Not once met the buyer in person, right? I was the middleman for this transaction, and I was able to get paid a deal dog fee based off of knowing the buyer and knowing the wholesaler that was involved in this transaction, right? This was one of the emails, right? That, hey, I sent this email. They gave me permission. Boom, right? And we closed, right? 2020 was a really, 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 really good year for us. Super good year for us. We did like tons of virtual deals. And then that's when we started getting into land, and that's when we started getting into a lot of different things, right? But these are probably some of the most recent deals that we've done. And it's been great, right? I mean, when it comes to, I show this not to brag, but I show this to say, hey, look, this business is possible. It's possible for you to make a good amount of money in this business, but you have to know how to connect with people, how to network, how to talk to people, right? And not just talk to people for your own benefit, but to talk to people for their, to help them get to the level of business that they want to get to, right? Here's some more, hey, people like, yo, are you still closing deals? Are you still closing deals? Because people are like, hey, man, those are some old screenshots, man. Those are some old screenshots, right? I'm like, yo, we closed this recently, right? So people, we do deals, man. We do deals. So, I say that because the proof's in the pudding, right? A lot of people are like, hey, look, I hear a lot of people doing deals. I don't know if this is real. I don't know exactly how to do it. There's a right and there's a wrong way to do this business. And I'll tell you guys that in this business, if you're not being upfront and open with people, you're doing it the wrong way. Here's what I mean by that. A lot of people, when I started wholesaling, I used to be scared to death to assign a contract because I was fearful that a seller would see how much I'm making, complain about it, and then I would lose the deal, right? And I've had it happen before, right? Because I wasn't fully open about what was going on, right? I learned from those mistakes. I learned from that. That costed me a lot of money, but it helped me in my benefit in the future, right? So now when I talk to people, here's what I say. Hey, Mr. Miss Seller, so basically, typically how I work, I either do one of three things to a property, right? I might come in here and I might buy the property myself, fix it up and resell it. I might buy this property, fix it up, turn it into a rental. Or what I might do is, hey, if you agree to sell the property to me, I will sell this to one of my investor partners who is interested in a property like this. But no matter what happens in this agreement, no matter whatever price we agree on is exactly what you are going to get, not a penny less. Not a penny less. Does that make sense? Is that okay? Yeah, that's okay. Cool. I've even had someone say, hey, look, you can make $100,000 on this property. I don't care, right? I just want it gone. I don't care if you make money at this point, right? And that's what you have to be transparent about. You have to be open, be honest, let people know, hey, you're an investor. You're not just a wholesaler, right? You're not just a wholesaler. Wholesaling is a strategy, okay? You are an investor. You are an investor. If you are not working this wholesaling business with the investor mindset, you're doing this wrong. You're not going to be able to wholesale a property if you don't know what the numbers need to be for a fix and flip. You're not going to be successful in this business long term if you don't know what the numbers need to be for a buy and hold. You're not going to be successful in this business if you don't know what the numbers need to be to do new construction from the ground up. You have to learn these things. You can't skip any steps when it comes to wholesaling. You can't skip any steps. So I know I talked a lot. I know I said a lot. I appreciate you guys having me on here and jumping on. I don't know if I went over time or not, but thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure speaking to everybody here. I don't know if this is Q&A time or what, but Coach, lead the way for me, brother.
Hey man, appreciate you. They know why you on here now. They understand totally why I asked you to come on, because at the end of the day, you gave out so many gems, you gave out so many nuggets, you gave out so much information. And we even started off with a whole new strategy that most people don't even know you can do by doing MLS wholesaling, right? Most folks think, hey, if it's on MLS, we can't touch it. If a real estate agent got it under contract, we can't touch it. But we showed you that's a myth. That's untrue, and we're working with a real estate agent as well. And then, I live in North Carolina with you. North Carolina with you. Live in Charlotte area, but I live in Fayetteville area. But Joe live in Texas area. Tanya live in California, and we're doing business in Chicago. So when folks say you can't do business where you live or out of town, then we demyth that. Right. But brother, thank you so much. I wrote like 5 pages of notes, and I'm not going to go over that. What I am going to do is yield to anybody have any questions. If you raise your hand, I'm looking at the other screen. I got 3 screens, guys. If I'm looking over to the left, so if you raise your hand, you got a question, please do. We are overtime. That's not a big deal. We don't train the time. We train to standard. The standard is putting the information out there, making sure everybody has something to understand what they do. And Dillano, the one thing I'm going to bring out to everybody's attention is one big distinguish between a real estate agent and a wholesaler, right? The wholesaler make 100% of that profit, whereas a real estate agent got to divide that up and get a percentage.
Right.
So 100% or 6% on the best end.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Look, hey, let me say something on that, bro. Let me say something on that. I never had my real estate license, right? People are like, yo, are you a realtor? Because people don't understand what we do. They they like, oh, yo, so you an agent? Are you a broker? I tell you, no, I'm not. You know, I work with brokers, I work with agents, but I'm not one. Like, so how do you get paid, right? It's all in the contracts, man. It's all in the contracts. It's all in the know how to do it, you know. But realtors are such a useful. They're so useful. So much useful people in as a realtor, right? I'm gonna throw shade at realtors. I didn't personally get my license. That's a personal choice. I wanted to get 100% of the deal, right? I didn't want to have to split it up. But hey, there's some people that I know that are agents and they wholesale, or agents and they do real estate investing, fix and flips, right? So you can do whatever works best for you, right? But I say this, right? Don't shoot shots at nobody doing anything, because everybody's out here trying to get it the same way you are.
Yeah, no, and the thing about it is, I mean, I want to make sure everybody understand. The great thing about it is, and like you said, they don't know the difference between a wholesaler and a real estate agent because we talk the same language. Last week, I got a phone call with somebody for a whole hour. They said, I thought you were a real estate agent. No, I'm an investor. But, you know, the thing about it is, we have to use A students to work with us, and we want to be partners with A students. Giants partner with giants to create giants. A real estate giant is a great person to partner with to do this business. And you said it right there, dang, that way. Wholesaling is the starting step, right? It's the most fundamental step to getting a contract or a written approval under contract for the right price.
Right.
So when you get that written agreement in place for the right price, you can do whatever you want. And that's what you end with. You started with this, and then you ended with, hey, at the end, I may want to buy and keep it. I may want to buy and flip it. I may want to buy and sell it over to someone else, and they get all their money. So I appreciate everything you said. And and some people may just don't know what to ask, because this may be something that you covered everything. But I definitely appreciate you coming on, giving out this information, providing the service, helping our people to understand that the possibilities are out there, the opportunities are out there. It's people say that, well, everybody's doing it. Okay, but you got to distinguish yourself by not going fishing in the wrong pond.
Right.
Right. So you just gave out so many. Now, like I said, I had notes, but I don't want to hold everybody up. It's 10:41, and no one raised their hand with any questions. No one put anything in the chat box. You did put your phone number out there. I did put a link on there. Anybody can get on that link that I put out there as well for to just get on my schedule if you want to talk about it. And that's what I'm trying to partner with Dillano, I'm sorry, to grow more people into this opportunity. He also brought out everybody want freedom of time. Everybody want more to be in control of their schedule. Everybody want to live the lifestyle that they want. Tell me this: how can you do it if you're going to work 9 to 10 hours a day and don't know when you're getting off? If you just keep doing that, right? But this is an opportunity where you can work an hour a day. Driving for dollars do not have to be 2 or 3 hours. You can drive for 30 minutes a day. In 30 minutes of just recording a number or taking pictures of it, or take a picture of the house as you drive by if you don't want to stop. Just take a picture of the address. When you get home, write down all the addresses on a little piece of paper or type it all up on an Excel document. And then do your skip tracing. And then do your phone call. Guys, let me be honest. And I'm sure you agree with this. This is a boring game. It's doing the same thing over and over again and getting great at it. It's not about doing 100 million things. It's about being great at one thing. And you said it, conversation. Telling folks how you can help them and going out there helping. Man, I mean, I ain't trying to, go over it, man. It's like awesome, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad you was able to come on. I'm glad everybody was able to experience this. It's recorded. It's gonna be on YouTube. It's already Facebook Live. So you was Facebook Live the whole time, Instagram Live, Twitter Live too. So you're everywhere, man. You're everywhere at once. I got that. I got that restream, man. They go 5 different places at one time.
Okay. Cool, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you having me on here. Let's connect, everybody. Find me on Facebook. I'm gonna add you back. Instagram, Real Estate Lano. Follow me on there. I really appreciate you, Coach, for helping me out. I didn't even know you wrote a book, man. That's what's up, man. I see the book right there. Yeah, right there. Yeah, I'm about to check it out, man. That's what's up, man. But
why wait to be great? Why wait to be great? Challenge.
Why wait to be great, man? I love it, bro.
Man, bro, we'll talk soon, man. Let's catch up. I've been hanging with Tony every week almost, man.
Oh,
been
yeah.
going over there chilling with him at least one day a week.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be able to go this week. I gotta go to Cincinnati, so I ain't gonna be able to go this week. But hey, let's catch up. Let's roll everything back and let's figure out what's the next steps. And everybody, if you want to reach out to me, to reach out to Dillano, let me know so we can get y'all on the same page, and then we can keep pushing forward. Look, we're gonna figure out how to make this thing work. We're gonna figure out how to make you make money. That's the only goal. We want you to be a 5-figure person or more.
Right.
5 figures is $10,000 a month, right? That's nice.
Right.
Let's get it. Let's get it, bro. Be light, be easy. Why wait to be great?
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank y'all. All right. Have a good